G'day, it's Greg Newson, Naturopath, Herbalist and Nutritionist from the Vitality and Wellness Centre. Welcome to our latest podcast in which we're going to look into and discuss our forgotten digestive organ, the pancreas. We're going to look at common signs and symptoms that indicate that the pancreas is not working to its optimal ability and what that can mean for our overall health. We'll discuss what causes the pancreas not to function as well as it should. We'll look at dietary and lifestyle factors that could be impeding its ability. And importantly, we'll look at what little gems Mother Nature has that helps to revitalise, rejuvenate and regenerate our pancreatic function. This podcast is brought to you by Naturovital, supplements with absolute purity, no added chemicals or excipients to bind tablet ingredients together, make manufacturing cheaper, fill empty spaces in capsules or increase the volume in powders. All their herbal blends are alcohol free and all supplements contain no synthetic or semi-synthetic flavours, colourings or sweeteners, just pure active ingredients. So you can feel confident and comfortable in knowing that your supplements are as close to nature as possible. Check them out today. So the pancreas, not many people give it a great deal of thought and it's just there, just does something. I don't know what it does, but it does something. Who cares? As long as I'm living, standing and I'm above ground, I'm all okay. If there's an imbalance in pancreatic function, those vital roles that it performs can diminish, and that can lead to a reduced ability for the body to absorb nutrients, which will then affect every single cell in the body. Similarly to the way if the stomach isn't working properly, that has a detrimental effect on everything downstream in the digestive system, which then has a detrimental effect on every single cell because they do not get the vitamins, the minerals and the nutrients they need to function properly. The pancreas is no different. So let's discuss what the pancreas does. The roles of the pancreas in relation to digestion are quite specific and quite important. Firstly, they produce the digestive enzymes and they play a crucial role in breaking the food down within the small intestine. The pancreas secretes protease, which is an enzyme that breaks down proteins and amino acids. It also produces amylase that breaks down carbohydrates into sugar and lipase that breaks down fats into fatty acids and glycerol. Now, these enzymes are released directly into the upper part of the small intestine where they begin to break the food down that has already been partially broken down by the stomach. The analogy I use in how the body breaks the foods down and how important it is to break the food down is when we chew the food and it goes into the stomach. It's like, think of an old building that needs to be wrecked and we've got a big wrecking ball on a crane and it comes along and it hits that wall. It breaks that big solid wall down to big chunks of brick. That's what the stomach acid does to the food. When it's in the small intestine, these digestive enzymes break that chunks of brick down to grains of sand. And the grains of sand are then able to pass into the bloodstream and be utilised by the body. Now, if the pancreas is unable to break these chunks of brick down, for want of a better word, into grains of sand, those chunks of brick then ferment in the stomach, and not in the stomach, in the small intestines and then in the colon, and create things like bloating, gas, abdominal pain, which I'll come to signs and symptoms of poor pancreatic function later, but that is one of them. When the digestive enzymes are released from the pancreas into the small intestines, they're secreted in a fluid of bicarbonate. Now, the role of the bicarbonate, since it's very alkaline, is once it's released into the small intestine, it neutralises the acid chyme. That's all the combination of what's been broken down by the stomach, because if it wasn't neutralised, it would burn. It would burn the upper part of the small intestine and that would lead to a duodenal ulcer, which can be very, very painful. In addition to the secreting the digestive enzymes and releasing the bicarbonate, the pancreas plays an extremely important role in regulating our blood sugar levels. So when we have a carbohydrate, those carbohydrates are broken down to simple sugars, in particular glucose. Now, the glucose then goes into the bloodstream, glucose levels rise, the pancreas it gets a message, hey, glucose is on the rise, it releases insulin. Insulin grabs hold of the glucose molecule and takes it to a cell, like a muscle cell, that needs glucose as energy. Now, If the blood glucose levels start to diminish and lower, the pancreas then releases another hormone called glucagon, which sends a message to the liver to say, hey, liver, you've got some stored glucose there, you better release it because we need to elevate the blood sugar levels. Without a proper functioning pancreas, these blood sugar levels can rise or fall. They can lead to diabetic comas, seizures, or even death. So it's very, very important to keep that blood sugar levels within the normal range. The pancreas also interacts with the liver and the gallbladder to facilitate digestion. Now, the liver produces bile, which is essential to break down fats, but it works more effectively in breaking down the fat when it's combined with the pancreatic enzymes and the bicarbonate that is secreted from the pancreas. So what are some classic signs and symptoms that tell us that the pancreas is not working effectively? Well, one of them is abdominal pain. Now, that abdominal pain can be caused because there is not enough pancreatic enzymes that have been released to break down the food, and then that food ferments in the small intestine and then in the colon, producing gas. Now, that gas and fermentation can put pressure on the intestinal walls, which results in pain. If there is pain in the upper abdominal area, which is where the pancreas is located, it can be an indication of pancreatitis, which is inflammation of the pancreas, and that pain can be quite severe. And it's typically a result from the pancreatic enzymes being activated inside the pancreas instead of the small intestines, and that is causing damage to the pancreatic tissue. Normally, the pancreatic enzymes are produced in an inactive form and are only activated once they reach the small intestines. This safeguard prevents the enzymes from digesting the pancreas itself. Gotta love how the body works. Fair dinkum. Unfortunately, there are several factors that can disrupt this process, causing the premature activation of these enzymes within the pancreas itself. So one of them, and a common one, is the blockage of the pancreatic duct, and that's generally blocked by a gallstone or a tumour or scarring. This causes the enzymes to be trapped and they start to accumulate in the pancreas, and this can lead to premature activation of the enzymes, the breakdown and inflammation of the pancreatic tissue. Something else that can cause pancreatitis is alcohol consumption. So heavy alcohol consumption it's a significant risk factor for pancreatitis. So the alcohol can cause the pancreatic duct to spasm and the small duct swell, leading to the enzymes being blocked and not being able to release. Extremely high levels of triglycerides, which is a type of fat that's found in the blood, can increase the risk of pancreatitis, generally because of the metabolic stress that they can place on the pancreas. People that suffer from hypercalcemia, which is high amounts of calcium in the blood, can also be a risk factor for pancreatitis. Certain pharmaceutical medications can also increase the risk of pancreatitis, but it doesn't mean that everyone that takes it's going to get pancreatitis. It's reasonably rare, but it can happen. So those medications are diuretic, anti-seizure medications, immunosuppressive medication, chemotherapeutic drugs, HIV medication, certain estrogens. High doses of estrogen can increase the risk of pancreatitis. So can statin drugs, the cholesterol drugs, blood pressure medications, which is the ACE inhibitors, anti-inflammatories such as your Nurofen, your Mobix, Celebrex, Vioxx, the non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, and certain sulfur drugs. So if you do suffer from pancreatitis and you are on some of those medications, it may be time to talk to your GP and just say, okay, right, well, let's see if we can go a different pathway. Another common sign of poor pancreatic function is too much flatulence. With that, there'd be bloating and possibly abdominal pain as well. Now, what happens there is that the pancreas is too tired or too run down or too lethargic to produce enough of the digestive enzymes. This can be because the pancreas is deficient in nutrients. It hasn't got its nutrient supply that it needs to produce the digestive enzymes. Now, that can be because of a poor diet or because the digestive system is not breaking the food down properly and it's not being effectively absorbed. But to produce the digestive enzymes, the body needs protein. So the enzymes themselves are made up of proteins. So sufficient proteins are crucial for enzyme production, as are B vitamins such as B1, B6 and B12. They are essential for the synthesis and function of the digestive enzymes, and zinc and magnesium play important roles in enzyme structure and function, with zinc being particularly important for the function of the protein breaking down enzyme protease. When the pancreas is run down or it suffers from pancreatitis, it can swell, and this swelling can affect the stomach's position and function and lead to feelings of nausea with the urge to vomit. Abdominal pain associated with the swelling of the pancreas, or the potential discomfort and embarrassment of excessive flatulence and bloating, can lead to a loss of appetite and subsequent malabsorption, which can also then lead to weight loss. If the pancreas is swollen or it's damaged, that can lead to an obstruction of the bile duct. Now, the bile duct is what transports bile from the liver and gallbladder into the intestines. Now, if this is obstructed, this can cause a buildup of bilirubin, which is a component of the bile, in the blood, leading to yellowing of the skin and eyes and the dark urine and the light-coloured stools, a condition commonly known as jaundice. People with pancreatic insufficiency may notice a change in their stools because the body cannot fully digest foods, in particular fats. This can lead to a greasy, foul-smelling, yellowish kind of stool that may float due to the high fat content. As we've previously mentioned, the pancreas regulates blood sugar levels by secreting insulin that lowers blood sugar levels, or secreting glucagon, which raises blood sugar levels. So poor pancreatic function, particularly in the insulin-producing cells, the aisles of Langerhans, can lead to an insufficiency in insulin release, contributing to elevated blood sugar levels, which can then potentially lead to diabetes and all of its wonderful complications. Another common symptom associated with poor pancreatic function is fatigue and weakness. And people go, I don't know why I'm tired. Well, it can be because your body is not absorbing the nutrients properly from your diet, and those nutrients are essential for energy production, or it can be because of the high blood glucose levels from the insulin deficiency. So they're some of the common signs and symptoms of poor pancreatic function. Now, some of those signs and symptoms can mimic other signs and symptoms. So the bloating and the flatulence and the abdominal pain, that can also be similar to poor stomach function. So we're not producing enough hydrochloric acid in the stomach. It can also be because of an overgrowth of bad or harmful organisms with the intestines, a condition called dysbiosis, where there's too many bad guys and not enough good guys. So treating the digestive system as a whole rather than in isolation is always an important strategy to improve the whole digestive function. So a lot of times when we treat the stomach, we're also treating the pancreas at the same time, because when we come to it, the herbs and nutrients that are needed for pancreatic function also stimulate stomach function. To improve the function of the pancreas, Mother Nature is here in all her glory. She has the ultimate solutions to stimulate digestive enzyme function, to balance blood sugar levels, and to reduce pancreatic inflammation. So let's briefly look at some of the classes of herbs that will do this. Now, the good news with this is that the herbs that stimulate digestive function, so the pancreatic function, also are the same classes of herbs that stimulate stomach production, the gastric juices within the stomach. And the premier herbs here are the bitter herbs. Now, they stimulate the secretion of the digestive juices, including the pancreatic enzymes, and they can also indirectly influence blood sugar regulation. Classic examples of those herbs are dandelion and gentian. Another class of herbs that helps improve digestion and relieve gas and stimulate the digestive process, including the pancreatic enzyme secretion, are carminative herbs, and they include fennel, aniseed, caraway, chamomile, and peppermint. Aromatic herbs, which are your typical culinary herbs, they actually are rich in volatile oils, and that's used to soothe the digestive system and stimulate pancreatic function. Now, they include things like aniseed, fennel, caraway, rosemary, and cardamom. Basically, any herb you've got growing in your vegetable garden outside, culinary herb, will help stimulate digestive function. Another group of herbs that help improve digestion are the pungent herbs. Now, they're the strong, spicy, hot-flavoured herbs such as ginger, garlic and cayenne, and they stimulate pancreatic function by improving the circulation to the pancreas as well as stimulating stomach and saliva function. Sour herbs such as hibiscus or rosella, schizandra and the good old lemon, they actually stimulate digestion by increasing the flow of saliva and gastric juices in the stomach, which tells the pancreas, hey, that food's on the way. So as I've mentioned with the stomach, when we spoke about the stomach, if you can include any of these fresh herbs into your daily diet, you're going to be stimulating stomach function. Dandelion, if you know what dandelion looks like, it's a weed. Well, it's not a weed. It's a beautiful flower and plant, but it's a very strong medicinal plant that generally grows in our gardens and in our lawn. Those leaves are highly prized. Now, besides digestion, they're also good for liver and kidney function as well, but that's another story for another day. Lemon juice that we spoke about, rosemary tea. You can pick a bit of rosemary. You can throw that in some hot water. You can drink that before food. You can do the same with rosella. You can have some ginger. There's lots and lots of ways that you can implement culinary herbs or herbs that you've got growing in your garden into your daily diet. Now, the great news about herbs is a herb may be, I'll get that word out in a minute, an aromatic herb, but also a carminative herb at the same time, i.e. fennel or aniseed. They calm the digestive system, but they're also stimulating with their volatile oils. So it seems like that Mother Nature's got the enzyme production all taken care of, but she also helps regulate blood sugar levels. There's a class of herbs called hypoglycemic herbs, and they help to lower or regulate blood sugar levels and regulate insulin. Not that Mother Nature likes to skite or show off her healing prowess, but some of those hypoglycemic herbs, such as gymnema or cinnamon, have actually been shown to improve the beta cells within the pancreas. Now, the beta cells are the cells that produce the insulin, which means those herbs help the pancreas produce more insulin by regenerating the damaged cells. Pretty cool, and that's why we love Mother Nature. To protect any of the cells in the pancreas from damage, Mother Nature's also got that covered in the form of antioxidant-rich foods and herbs. Antioxidant-rich herbs are green tea, turmeric, any berry, rosella, beetroot, actually any red fruit or food. They are all rich in antioxidants, and the antioxidants protect the pancreatic cells from damage and further deterioration. Lastly, another class of herbs that helps protect the pancreas from damage are anti-inflammatory herbs. Now, inflammation, if you cut yourself, I'm going to side issue here, if you cut yourself, it gets red and sore, and that inflammation is acute inflammation, and that lasts for 1 to 2 weeks, and it causes wound healing. If that inflammation is hanging around the body for longer than 2 weeks, it becomes chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation doesn't heal. Chronic inflammation causes pain and tissue degeneration. So we don't want that happening in the pancreas, because then we don't produce enough digestive enzymes, we can't regulate our blood sugar levels, we can't produce the bicarbonate. The whole digestive system and the whole cellular system within the body begins to suffer. You'll find with the anti-inflammatory herbs, especially the ones that I'm going to mention, they also stimulate digestion. What are they? Ginger, turmeric. Turmeric also stimulates the production of bile. Green tea, which is a strong antioxidant, is also a great anti-inflammatory, as is chamomile. So what else can be done in the supplement world, or what do I do in clinic to help improve digestive function, in particular pancreatic enzyme and blood sugar regulation? Well, you can take digestive enzymes, but I've never been a great fan, because really all we're doing if we're taking digestive enzymes is the pancreas is not producing enough digestive enzymes, so we'll take a digestive enzyme to offset that. And that might sound good in theory, but what we're actually doing is we're not ever allowing the pancreas to function the way it's designed to. We keep on putting a tablet in there or a capsule in there that people have got to take with every meal for every day of their life. And I kind of go, well, yeah, that's not the way I work. I would much rather give the body the nutrients and tools it needs to regenerate the pancreas and allow it to function at its optimal levels. In clinic, I give people Naturovital Digestive Support. It contains a blend of bitter, carminative, pungent, and an aromatic herbs. Now, it's the same tonic that I will give people if they've got an insufficiency in gastric juices production from the stomach. So herbs, this is what I love about herbs, they have more than one role. I'm not giving them betaine hydrochloride for the stomach to increase stomach acid, and I'm not giving them digestive enzymes to substitute for pancreatic insufficiency. So the combination of these herbs stimulates stomach function and it stimulates pancreatic function. If we need to reduce the inflammation within the pancreas, I'll give patients Naturovital inflammatory support along with Naturovital antioxidant support. The reason I give both is inflammatory support has got the herbs to reduce the inflammation. The antioxidant support is rich in, obviously, antioxidant-rich foods. Now, antioxidants, what they do is they mop up harmful substances in the body. Think of it this way. Rust damages steel. If your cells are rusting, the antioxidants protect your cells from rusting. So if the pancreas is rusting, they bind to those cells and prevent, or those chemicals, and prevent any further damage to those cells wherever they are in the body. Antioxidants are not exclusive to supplements. You can get them from your diet. I will always give people extra antioxidants, especially in an inflammatory situation. But as a general rule, to prevent damage of cells, eat lots of reds and greens and yellows and blues and purples and oranges and whatever brown types of food that you can, because they're rich in antioxidants, and they're generally all of your fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and legumes and pulses and beans and herbs. To help regulate blood sugar levels and stimulate the pancreas's ability to produce adequate amounts of insulin and glucagon, I will always use Naturovital BSL Balance that contains the hypoglycemic herbs that help to restore function back to the pancreas and lower blood sugar levels. In addition to BSL Balance, I'll also give Naturovital antioxidant support, because when the blood sugar levels elevate, the sugar combines with proteins and fats within the bloodstream and produces advanced glycation end products commonly known as AGEs or AGEs. These AGEs can cause serious problems within the body. They can cause protein dysfunction by altering the structure and function of proteins. For example, collagen is a protein that provides structure and elasticity to the skin and connective tissue, but if there's too many of these AGEs, the skin and the collagen, I should say, become stiffer with less elasticity, and that contributes to aging and impaired wound healing. The AGEs also bind to certain receptors on cells that drive inflammation. So they activate the inflammation pathway within that cell, which generates oxidative stress, which is the rusting of that cell, and then that contributes to cellular damage and has been implicated in almost every disease that you can think of, whether it be cardiovascular, cancer, diabetes, kidney disease, neurodegenerative disease, autoimmune disease. Inflammation is a contributing factor. So antioxidants and antioxidant-rich foods help counteract the oxidative stress and the inflammation caused by these AGEs. And one other thing, these AGEs actually help you to age very quickly. So they cause wrinkles. So if that's not enough to help you change your diet, I don't know what is. To help better manage blood sugar dysregulation, I will also include Naturovital Zim, which contains zinc and magnesium. Zinc is essential for insulin storage and secretion, whereas low magnesium levels is often associated with insulin resistance and pancreatic dysfunction. So hopefully this podcast has given you a greater understanding of how the pancreas works and how important the pancreas is for not only digestion but for our overall long-term health. Thanks for listening. This is Greg, and until next time, live life and laugh loud.